My name is Leanne Lincoln. I am the CFO of SAI, and I have with me Nicole Arthur, who is our administrative assistant, who most of you, if you come to our office, probably see. She is the first face you see whenever you visit there. Thank you for coming today to hear our budget presentation. How many of you is this the first time doing the budget? Wow. Well, the only difference is that it's all done through OrgSync this year. So it's the same process, it's just now done through OrgSync, so there's not a lot of papers flying around. So that's the good news. Last week was the House of Representatives meeting where all clubs were invited to come and meet their cabinet rep. Were you all there? You all know who your cabinet rep is? Okay, it's very important that you keep in constant communication with them, not constant, but in communication with them so that they're aware of where you're at in your budget process, also what you need and what you're requesting in your budget. So during the meeting, they can be the person who defends you there. They can tell them why you need the money you're asking for. Some important dates that you're all going to want to know is the budget due date is Friday, February 21st. All budget packets must be received at SAI through OrgSync by midnight on that date. In order for it to be received, we actually will not even get the email until all approvals have been done for it. So when Nikki gets up and presents, she's going to explain to you how the approval process works. You'll basically have somebody submit the budget. When they submit it, they will punch in 2 other email addresses who act as the approvers also. Both of those will have to go in and approve the budget packet before it comes to SAI and we actually receive it. Okay. The 20th, I'm sorry, yeah. It's changed online, but not on the printout. So once that date comes and goes, the budget packets will then be given to the cabinet reps. They will be sorted and given to the cabinet reps, so then they can start meeting with you and going over what you've requested. Some cabinet members have actually already met with their clubs and they know exactly what they're asking, but others have not. They like to wait until the budget is actually submitted. So we do have a lot of clubs who submit the same budget year after year because their expenses are the same. They may just increase, but they basically request the same funding every year. So it's pretty easy for them to do their budget packets. Budget packets that come in after the 20th are considered late, and they will be charged a 5% penalty per day. What is different this year is that it used to be that that penalty was taken off of whatever your request was, and then they decided to change it, so now student cabinet will charge that fee on whatever you're allocated next year. So if you're allocated $1,000 and you have penalties, 3 days worth of penalties, that amount will come off of your $1,000 allocation July 1st of next year. Allocation is your funding, that's what it's called. You request a budget allocation, and it's an amount of money that you're given to operate off of. On Saturday, March 28th, student cabinet will meet, and that is when they will all discuss the budget packets that they have received. Your cabinet member will be the person representing your club there. Each cabinet rep has about 7 to 8 clubs that they will represent. It will be an all-day meeting, and we go round by round where a student will actually put the amount up they believe that you need to operate with, and then other cabinet members will dispute it with them, and we will go up or down from that point. It is a very long, tedious process, which is why we're changing it to a Saturday this year instead of a Wednesday night. After that meeting is over and it gets approved at student cabinet, we will post the budget on OrgSync that night. So Saturday, March 28th, the approved budget through student cabinet will be placed on OrgSync. So note that you can look at it then. It will then go to student government that following Monday for their approval. And if it gets approved at student government, then it will go to the SAI Annual Corporation, which will meet on Monday, April 13th in Steele Auditorium. Every student who is an undergraduate full-time fee-paying student, that means you have 12 or more credits, you have to be undergraduate, you are permitted to come and vote to approve or reject the budget. Only those students are permitted into Steele. You will receive a wristband in order to go in, and I encourage you all to attend. You pay the fee, you should come and vote and let your voice be heard. That is also the time whenever students can run for the SAI Board of Directors. You may self-nominate yourself. You can have a friend nominate you, but if you're interested in being on the SAI Board of Directors, it looks great on your resume. And They meet once a month and decide a lot in regards to student fees. So I encourage you all to try to do that if you have the time. So let me talk a little bit about the budget process. You've heard me talk about cabinet and SAI. SAI's responsibility in the budget process is really just to collect the information and turn it over to your cabinet members. We do not have a say in how much money you are given. We submit a budget to cabinet too, so that they also can approve our requests for funding for next year. I do take the time to prepare a spreadsheet for each club. I started it many, many years ago, so every cabinet member will get a history of your club's spending patterns. They will know how much you've spent over the prior years, if you've spent all your money, if you've given any money back, if you've done fundraising. They kind of get a nice history so they know how your club has been actively operating over the past 7 years, if you've been around that long. Student cabinet is actually the group of students who decide how much each club is awarded. That's why it's very important that you know your cabinet rep. Everybody's eligible to run for student cabinet if you're part of student government, or you can get elected through the House, which you are all probably members of because you could be your representative for your club. So if you see the process happen this year and you're not happy with it, which seems to happen every year, you may join student cabinet next year. So just remember that whenever the budget comes around. Like I already told you how student cabinet will decide, then goes to student government, then to the annual corporation. So there is quite an approval process. The budget has been shot down in previous years, and we've had to do the process again. If it does not get approved through student government, student cabinet will meet again, go through it all, and award new amounts. Usually not that different, but then it'll go back to student government. Of course, everybody knows that funds have been going down and down and down over the years. There was a time whenever money was just flourishing and it was coming off the trees and everybody was getting whatever they asked. That doesn't happen anymore. Budgets are tight. So when you're working on your budget request, please remember that, and please be economical and don't ask for extravagant things. If you do ask for a trip to Hawaii, it's going to make your cabinet representative not very happy. The others will see that request for Hawaii too, and I can tell you they're probably going to hold it against you. Going to DC for a trip is a lot better than going to Hawaii. We would all love to go to Hawaii, but it's just not financially possible unless you want to fundraise for the whole trip to Hawaii. When you're doing your budget, you're going to want to meet with your entire club. If you have seniors that are graduating and they're not going to be here next year, you probably don't really want them involved that much in what you're going to use your money on next year, because they're not going to be here. So you're going to want to get people who are going to be here to spend the money. You're going to want their input. So I encourage you all to talk about your budget at one planned meeting that you have, invite as many members as possible to attend, and come up with a list of things that everybody would like to do, not just a few people on your executive board. We've had a lot of clubs come up here and say, the people who did our budget last year, they're not even here this year, so we don't even know what they were going to spend the money on. We don't want to do any of that. How can we change it? Whatever you submit in your budget packet is the only thing you're permitted to spend money on next year. So if there's something that you want to do and you don't include in your budget packet, you're going to have to raise that money on your own. You cannot use any of the allocated dollars you're awarded to do that. So just remember that whenever you're doing your budget packet. You also want to be kind of general in what you put in your budget packet. You don't want to be very specific. If you go to a conference every year, you can put the name of the conference. You may not know the location of it, and that is absolutely fine. Just name it and put an amount to it. If you have different programs, you can just put program supplies. So just when you're going through, just kind of keep that in the back of your head, not to be as specific as possible, because every time you submit a purchase rec at SAI, we have to look at that budget packet to see if you've included that in what you want to spend dollars on. And if you haven't, we can't approve the purchase order. So that's just something to remember. I'm going to let Nikki walk you through the budget process. It's not very hard. Has everybody done on OrgSync? Okay, good. OrgSync is how we try to communicate with everybody, and it's pretty simple. It's a simple process. As long as you follow directions, we detail them out as much as possible. Just follow them, and you should all be fine. If you have any questions when we're done, please feel free to come up and ask us. We'll call for questions once Nikki's done presenting. If you're not comfortable asking the question, you can come see us afterwards. That's not a problem. We will help you as best as we can. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm just quickly going to walk you through the online process through OrgSync, just so it's not the first time you're seeing it. And that way, if you have questions as we go, you can ask them, or if you have them as you started on your own, you can contact SAI. So this is the main page once you log into OrgSync. The easiest way to get to the budget is right here. It's this tile, 2015-2016 budget form. And I already started one. So we'll start a different one. Begin form. We won't begin anyone right away. Sorry, guys. Alright, so here, when this drop-down occurs, I only have myself, all users, and Sync certified. You guys will have every club that you're a part of. So you're going to select the club that you're submitting for. And this is our budget cover letter. Liam already went over most of this, so I'll let you read it on your own time. But it does list out Kim, Coupler, Liam, Lincoln, and myself's contact information for questions after we leave here. This is, again, something Leanne already went over. It's all of the dates for the budget process all the way through the final annual corporation meeting. And here we get to the instructions. This details out what you're going to need to do in order to complete the budget. And at the end of this, you will need to click that you accept and agree to what is laid out. So I encourage you to read it and not just click accept. This is SAI's chart of accounts. This is just to help you guys when you're planning. Everything in bold is the main account heading, and then everything small print underneath is just what you can consider as part of that category. And now we're into the actual budget. You do need to put what you anticipate bringing in money-wise. This is not counted in your request. It gets taken off your actual total. So keep that in mind. It's going to ask you that later on. So you think you're going to bring in fundraising money. You can base this off what you had last year, this current year in fundraising. Maybe you guys are planning on doing more fundraising, less fundraising, one or the other. Yes?
That 5-digit number, is that?
This 5-digit number is what SAI uses to categorize fundraising income. So, you don't need to worry about it right now, no. Whenever you bring in money to deposit, it's just our category breakdown. So say you're planning on bringing in $700 this year in fundraising. Program income is any money that is beyond dues or fundraised money. So we're not planning on bringing in any program income, but we are going to charge dues to help cover the expense associated with running the club. So total income we plan on bringing in is $700 total. I went back and changed that. Now you're into your actual money that you're requesting use for. All this is asking for is a dollar amount. If you do not anticipate using the category, you must enter a 0. That's important because the form is built so that if you answer a 0 in the next step, it's not going to ask you to detail out anything for that category that you put 0 for. So your transportation. We don't think we need transportation money this year, but we do need conference money. And we want to be able to pay for some food. This fundraising expense category, this is something to jumpstart your fundraising. This is not meant to be used for something that's a pre-order. So if you're going to sell the Saris brochures, you don't need any startup fundraising money. Whereas if you're going to purchase the boxes of pretzels and candy bars to sell, you need that money up front. You don't have that money coming in to help pay for it. So that's what this accounts for. And then your program expense, When in doubt of where to put something in your budget, program expense pretty much covers it all. It's anything at all that your club needs to operate. Apparel and costumes, say $700, and I'll get into this category again on the next page. And special events, $300. Now you're just going to total up everything that you punched in for your expenses and hit the continue button. Here's your total request. So this is where I said you're going to take what you added up for expenses and subtract out what you told us you were actually going to bring in. So for this expense, we said $6,600 is what we needed expense-wise, but we were bringing in $700. So the grand total that we're asking for is $5,900. And here's your activity detail. This is where Leanne stated to give us some detail, but again, try to be a little bit vague in what you're requesting. So our conferences and travel, we want to attend the OrgSync Connect National Conference. We don't know the location yet, but we know that we're going to have to fly, so we need airfare, a hotel, the registration, and meals. And we're taking 3 people because it's so far away. The other conference that we have is the OrgSync Regional. Now this is local, so we're going to drive ourselves. All we really want the club to pay for is registration. It's only a 1-day thing. Meals are on us, and we're going to take 6 people. That's all you really need to put. Give us the name, give us around about how many people, and then just generalize from there. Here's our meals and refreshments. Again, same thing. If you want food for monthly meetings until your food money runs out, make sure you put food for monthly meetings. And food for social events. Fundraising. Again, you're going to purchase Sarah's candy bars. You plan on selling food at homecoming or something else. That's where this goes. So this is startup money for a raffle basket and food to sell at homecoming. Again, I didn't say what kind of raffle basket. You know, it's open for interpretation then. So in the fall, if you guys decide, hey, we don't want to do the tickets we were planning on doing as part of our raffle basket, we want to do a CalU themed one, great. You're able to do it. Program expense. Again, this is anything that your club needs to operate at all throughout the entire year. So supplies for the club and org fair, membership fees for organization and members, anything relevant. Again, when in doubt, put it into your program expense line. Apparel and costumes. I know that we have rugby in the audience. This is where your uniforms are going to go. Mon Valley Dance, this is where your costumes are going to go. This is apparel and costumes needed for your club to function. So jerseys, you know, again, if you're Mon Valley Dance, you're purchasing costumes. If you need polos because you're all attending the same conference and everyone needs to know that you're together, this is, you know, CalU, whatever club, that's going to go in there as well. And your special events. So maybe you're planning on having guest speakers or an end of the year dinner. Again, if you're thinking about doing it next year, include it in your budget. You're not going to give us so much information. It's better to give yourself options to pick from than to limit yourself to very small things that are in there that we're going to have to say, no, you didn't have that in your budget. Here's your campus organization information form and the link to take you to it. This is on file at SAI already, but a lot of times it gets forgotten about when you change one officer or 2 officers. A lot of people don't resubmit. We check this every time you bring paperwork into SAI to make sure that whoever is signing is an authorized user of your account. If they're not, we're going to deny it and make you go get somebody else's signature that's actually on that sheet. So you're going to upload something, which is your campus organization form. And where did she put it? Okay. There we go. So once you upload it, it's going to let you continue. Down on the bottom here, guys, you can always go back a page. You can go all the way back to the beginning if you want. You just have to keep clicking previous. And there's a Save and Finish Later button, which is really nice. That's what happened when I started it back up. I had already started a budget. I clicked Save and Finish Later. When I clicked it, it took me right back into the point where I had saved it. So you can pick right back up. Yes?
What is the campus organization?
It is, let me take you to the link. This one. Every officer that you want to sign for things to come out of your account needs to be on there. If you have more than one advisor, we've only got one advisor space, flip it over and give us the same information in the signature for any other advisors you may have. I know some clubs have 2 and 3 advisors. If you want them to be able to sign to take money out of the account, they have to be on that sheet. Okay. So we uploaded it, so it will let us continue. And here's your roster. Again, there's instructions on how to get it off of WorkSync. You must have at least 20 students. When you export that roster, it's going to include any advisors. We will see that and take them off your total. So make sure when you export it that you have at least 20 students. Otherwise, your budget's not going to be completed. Here we go. Uploading the roster. When it's done, it will let you continue. And now you're on your authorization page. So you need your president. Make sure that you are putting in their official CalU email address, or it will not send them the link. Again, your form is not considered completed, accepted, sent to SAI, any of that, until all 3 verifications have come back that it's approved. If not, it's just going to sit out there. You click the finish button when you're all done. Submission's been received. Again, though, it's not received by SAI until those verifications come back. Let me see if I have the email so I can show you guys what that looks like. If you have not been on WorkSync or your advisor has not been actively on WorkSync, there is a small possibility that it will go into junk mail. So make sure that they check their junk mail before you call us in a panic. And right here we go, review request. If they click this review now, it's going to take them right here. They can approve it or deny it. They are able to scroll through and see everything that you submitted. Right there's your numbers and your detail. Once they click approve, that's it, they're done. The other 2 people will still need to approve. Any questions? Yes.
2 people plus the advisor?
2 people plus the advisor. It is your president, and then either your vice president or treasurer, and then your advisor. Yes?
Is the roster just all online?
The roster is all online, and there's detailed instructions within the budget that tell you how to get to it. But if you have any questions or any sort of confusion or anything, just give us a call or stop in, and we can help you get it. My recommendation would be to download it first and then begin your form. And again, you can always save and continue the form later. You don't have to do it all in one day. There's also the ability to print it out so that you can work on it as a club instead of having to click through it and click back and forth. When you click here on it, download blank PDF form. And there's your PDF version of it. It will include all the documents. So you can also do that. Any other questions? Yes?
We'll talk about the roster again. It has to be the org sync membership.
It has to be the org sync membership, yes. So make sure that all of your members are actually on there as requested to join your club. And your roster, don't pay any attention to this till I actually get to a club. So Activist Club. If I were a member of Activist Club and I clicked on people, this is where you can export your portal roster. Again, make sure there's no join requests listed there, because if there are and they haven't officially been added, they're not going to be counted. So you'll just click export the roster, save it, and then upload it when it asks you for it. Yes?
Hypothetically, say about ad hoc members that aren't listed university, can they join?
Right now, there is no way, unless you are a CalU student, to join the portal, and that also, they wouldn't count anyway towards your 20 people, because those 20 people must be California University of Pennsylvania students. Just like we're going to remove your advisors out of it. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, so the final step in the process, once all the awards are given, everybody knows how much they're getting, is the redistribution process. That will not occur until July. Not next July, this July. Most clubs don't get what they're asking for. It's just a fact. So say you ask for $10,000, you only got $5,000. In order for SAI to know how to distribute that money into your accounts, you have to tell us. And that's what the redistribution process is. It's basically taking what you submitted already and just taking down the numbers to the individual accounts you want. So say you had $1,000 in every account, or $2,000 in every account, and you're going to drop it to $1,000 in every account. You're just redistributing the money that you were actually awarded. You can still use it on whatever you put in your budget packet, but we have to have a way to put it in our accounting system, and that's the best way instead of just doing a straight percentage off. It just works out a lot better that way. So that information will come out once the budget is actually approved, and then the process will be put online. It was done through OrgSync last year. It's a very simple process. You literally just go in and put amounts and send it to us. So it's very easy to do, but just look for that email once the budgets are done.
The city budget for things is approved, but do you need to do that? Is that possible?
You say you budgeted $10,000 for program expenses and $10,000 for travel, but you were only awarded $10,000 in total. Or say you were awarded $12,000 in total. You can't put that $12,000 in one account. You can't go higher than what you originally requested in any account. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if you're going through the process and you have any issues, you can always contact any one of us. Our names are on the form up there. You can contact me, Nikki, Kim. Contact your cabinet reps. They're also all trained on how to do this, so they should be able to help you and guide you through the process. And that is all. And I thank you all for attending. I appreciate you coming and listening to us.